this computer. And we are live. Today is 3rd of November, and this is OSRA Daily Scrum. Here is Alex, Craig, Nick, and me. Well, Nick, your turn.
Okay. So I did a bit of code review today. I left some comments on, or one comment I think on Alex's pull request. I started going through Craig's pull request about refactoring the import, the importer, all the functionality associated with that. And I did just a bit of work on my own story, which is this agent.
Choose your filter when you're talking, because it's very hard to understand us.
Sure. Yeah. So what this is Alex's story that I commented on today. Craig's, is it in here, Craig?
I've created an issue for it. I don't think I've pulled it into the current sprint.
Okay. And yeah, and my story is this one here. It's the second part. So Craig merged my pull requests for just creating the agent model and linking it with sponsor. And now I'm working on implementing the views for all of that. So it's a fairly simple thing at this point to finish up. So that's what I'll focus on for, I don't know, in the near future anyway. And that's it for me.
Okay, Craig?
I submitted my PR, a little rough around the edges, but just wanted some feedback. As Nick said, he started going through it. What I was going to say, Nick, though, I mean, what you've given me is really helpful, but I mean, in terms of a refactoring, do you think it's an improvement or no different, or?
Yeah, I actually was hoping that we might have some time to talk about it because again, I haven't gone very far into it, as you can tell. I jumped from one place to the next a little and just left a few comments. But I think the code that is currently in pending orphan doesn't belong there.
Right.
Because so what I did today, actually, I ended up printing out on physical paper the pending orphan class and looking at its methods and seeing how they relate to each other, etc. And there's actually nothing in that class that applies to pending orphan itself. You know, it basically parses the information that it gets from Excel into a hash that can then be used as attributes to create an orphan. But all the methods in the model actually deal with preparing data, putting it into a structure that would allow you to create an object, instantiate the class. So it seems to me that pretty much everything that's in there now shouldn't be.
Okay.
Yeah, and well, you know, this is my view, obviously.
No, and it's interesting because I kind of I understand what you're saying, but with it being pending orphan being something that makes an orphan, I'd be interested. I have a think about it and post because I find that interesting. I really would appreciate what you. Yeah, your thoughts on that. So I won't say anything now, but yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, the sort of the more I step back, the more I try to look at the process and try to break it down into as kind of granular, as atomic of pieces as we can get. So, you know, we have something that uploads a file, then we have something that tries to parse that information from the comma separated values or
Yeah.
tab separated values, whatever, into a hash, then something takes that hash and creates a whole bunch of objects, and then if those objects are validated, then they get transitioned into a different kind of an object. And I would say for basically every single step that I just described, there ought to be that functionality needs to be encapsulated in a class of its own.
Yep.
And pending orphan, to me, then what it becomes is once you've imported and parsed the data, you use that hash to create pending orphans, and then you go through validation where you validate every single pending orphan, and if they're all valid, then they get converted into regular orphans. But this process of preparing the data into a format that can be used to instantiate a pending orphan object, I don't think that's the business of the pending orphan class itself. But that's, again, that's kind of how I try to see it from 10,000 feet up.
Yep.
But yeah, I was looking at it, I was thinking how great it would be to have a live session and discussion about this instead of these 5-minute talks that we have here or Slack that isn't really suitable for it. But, maybe if it comes to it, I'll really try to set something up where you and I can have at least half an hour of, so to speak, face-to-face, and we can discuss all this.
Cool beans.
All right.
So that was that. And I need to go through Nick's other comments and have a look at those.
Okay, Alex.
I just finished working on making sure every time someone is editing an orphan, sponsor or partner, if they do cancel, they should be able to be returned to the show view rather than going back to the index. So I issued a pull request for that, and I'll be able to, what I'm planning to do is just go through the comments that Nick was saying he made for the work that I've done so far.
Okay, guys, we have some stories to vote in our plan. Nick, can I go into plans?
Yeah.
And hero stories?
Alex, just before I forget, your pull request will have to be rebased as well. Are you comfortable doing that?
No problem.
Okay, because currently if you go there, it says that we cannot merge it in its current state, and that means that it needs to be rebased on the current develop.
No problem.
Okay.
Choose filter for phase 0.
Yeah. Sorry, while I'm here, Craig, do you want me to put this into the current sprint, the refactor story?
Please. Yeah.
Okay, so phase 0.
Okay, what about this update orphan list?
I just got a Java error.
I don't know.
Let me try that again. No.
No, I think it's because it's not in phase 0. I don't know.
Strange. I'm just going to refresh.
Yeah.
Atlassian, you're letting the side down.
Yeah, this just refuses to work. Okay.
We have 3 stories. 0. What about update orphan list Excel file format?
I can't look at it because it gives me this Java error here.
What's happened?
Can you see the error message that I'm getting?
Yeah, I see the error message.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened. Let me try to...
So from what I recall, actually...
I have the same.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, we really should have spoken to Modison about it last night, because This is apparently some changes that have come down from the client. They would like to change the format of their Excel sheets. And Modison was the one who wrote up the story, and it would have been best for him to explain what it actually entails. But
Still something happened with his user story.
something must have happened, but
Yeah.
okay.
Interesting. What's happened with his story? Something with attachments for this story. Okay.
Yeah, he had sample. Okay, so I can open the story itself like this. So as an orphan admin, so I can start using orphan data collection sheet template version 2.3. I need the application to modify its existing upload and import functionality to accept the new template. And there are 6 subtasks, each one for all the modifications that need to be changed to the import template. So I need to add is father dead flag to orphan model. Sorry, my logic is breaking down at this point. I thought if father wasn't dead, then they weren't considered orphans.
No. We've discussed that we may consider orphans even if the father isn't dead.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry. Modify orphan validation. Father date of death is mandatory only if father is not alive.
That would make sense.
Yeah, okay, so logic still holds in parts of the world. And father is martyr must be false if the father is alive. Okay, so we have one extra field, 2 validations. Change the importer settings. Craig, that's something maybe that you're in the best position to comment on how difficult or what exactly this entails.
I don't think that'll be overly difficult.
Yeah, okay. Add importer validations that match orphan validations, update orphan list fixtures, update orphan list features and specs. Okay, I think I could vote on this.
Yeah, I think it's Alex, Craig.
I don't have enough contextual information to. I haven't dealt with any of the imports.
Craig, can you vote?
I'm sorry, Pavel, can you repeat that?
Craig, can you vote?
I can vote.
Well, then just you two try. I count from 3 to 0. So.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Nobody saw anything, right?
Nobody, yes. But okay, we'll see. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah. It's free.
Where can I
put it into estimation again? Nick, why are you not sharing the window? Why are you sharing the whole screen?
Because sometimes I want to show you something in.
That's the way he rolls, Pavel.
That's right. Don't tread on me. Here, okay. How do I enter an estimate here? Where is it?
I think you can just put E. Can you hit E? The E key?
It gives me edit. These are time estimates. That's not what we want. Story points, this, right?
Yes, that one.
Okay. So.
Move it.
Oh yeah, can I put it into the sprint from here?
Yes, I think you can. Workflow? No. Maybe it's more.
Move like this?
No, not like this. Try to go to workflow, what we'll see better. No, admin. No.
Oh, here, if I try this.
On board.
Oh, look at that.
And it's broken.
You can try to even if
there.
you can move it.
Okay, so phase 0 again. Okay, so add start date and end date to sponsorship. That's what we discussed with the client yesterday. So we settled on that for the time being, all we need to do is record the dates. And they have to be visible somewhere.
Hello.
Hey, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
You're just in time to vote on some stories.
Okay, I couldn't make it earlier, sorry.
You're all right?
Okay, so we're up to add start date and end date to sponsorship. So, as I recall from yesterday's discussion, for now, all this means is that when the sponsorship is created, we need to be able to record the desired start date for the sponsorship, and when it's ended, the same thing, desired end date. But there's no action that we need the application to take based on those dates.
And will we do it with new view or new edit form, or it will be?
Yeah, well, I guess that's another thing maybe we can discuss then right now, is that we had two different possible solutions for how to do this. One was with a modal pop-up, and one was with just adding a couple of extra text fields to the existing views. I suppose the easiest way, and the one that doesn't introduce any dependencies for the time being, would be to go with text fields.
That's the one I'm liking.
Yeah, okay.
Is that like the mock-up?
Yeah, that's the mock-ups that you created, Brian. Okay, so let's vote on it based on that then. Can everybody vote?
I can, guys.
Okay.
Okay, then switch off your.
Yeah, I remember that.
When I'll count from 3 to 0, and that's it. 3, 2, 1, go. Brian, you think?
Yep.
It's like a piece of cake.
He's been
What?
touched with Nikita's optimism.
Yeah, just
I'm pretty optimistic about it. Well, I was thinking that if we're doing it in the way that the mock-up is created, that's not going to be as much as integrating it into, having the start date and act date and end date actually, do something as far as beginning or ending the sponsorship, since it's just going to be basically like the additional info field, that is, from what I understand, just something they can type in that it remembers, and no action based on it. That's why I gave it a 1.
well, I can explain why I voted 2. Ensuring that we have those extra columns in the in a table for sponsorships, create or modifying the views, making sure that the params get passed to the controller, to the model, and actually, now that I'm thinking about it out loud, we have currently no way to display a sponsorship per se, but we do have that list of orphans that are being currently sponsored on the sponsors page. So I guess that's where we display the projected end date. Does that sound right? So basically, we need to modify the view for creating a sponsorship. We need to modify the view for yeah. So on the sponsor page, there is a panel where the currently sponsored orphans are displayed, and there needs to be a text box there for entering the projected end date, and then in the previously sponsored orphan panel, you need to have end dates for those expired sponsorships as well. And then, of course, you need to follow all of this with features and etc.
And migrations.
Yeah. Actually, migrations, I'm not entirely sure because I seem to recall that the sponsorship model might already have end date and start date on it. They're just not being used at the moment. But that's something that needs to be checked one way or the other. So 2 is okay with everybody, it looks like.
Yep.
Yep, Brian agreed with 2. Okay, just 2.
Okay.
Okay, share your screen again.
Right.
Have you taken the plunge, Nick, and upgraded?
On what, sorry?
OSX?
Oh, yeah.
10.
Yeah, I about a week. Yeah, maybe about a week ago.
Any problems?
Well, you're not a RubyMine user, so no, but RubyMine's screen flickers, something to do with Java. It seems to be a common thing. No, nothing else that I've noticed so far. Okay, and
Correct. Maybe you as administrator can do some, I don't know, in the administrator panel for Jira, maybe you can update indexes or something like that, because I think that problem with update on orphan list Excel file format would pursue us the whole sprint.
yeah,
We should
okay.
do something with that. Yeah. Will you try, Craig?
So sorry, say again?
Just try to do something with this story, update orphan list Excel file format. Maybe you should go to admin panel and rerun indexes or something like that on our cloud.
Well, Nick can do that there.
I don't know. I'm not sure if Nick is administrator for the Jira cloud.
Would it be from here, Pavel, from the gear?
Yeah.
System. Okay, where am I going?
Let's go first to the audit log on the top. Let's look what problem do we have. I don't see a problem here.
No.
Let's go down. Scroll down, please.
Yeah, well, we're going back in time here.
Let's go to attachments. Well, you see, advanced.
Where?
On the left-hand side.
Yeah, on the.
Oh, okay, here. Sorry, I was still looking through the log.
Interesting. Okay, let's go to indexing on the same page.
Indexing.
Yeah, on the
So this,
Make reindex, please.
this one?
No. Yeah, we can do that one. Yeah, reindex. It will be fast.
Well, we heard Pavel say that, didn't we? Oh, well done, Pavel.
Okay, let's go back to our board.
Nope.
And now the same problem.
Yep.
I don't know what's happened with this. Maybe it has some attachments in Arabic language, I don't know.
I wouldn't have thought it would have dived in and had a look.
I don't know.
How big's the attachment?
Okay, try to open this Excel attachment.
15 KB, there shouldn't be a problem about that.
Any success?
Yeah, it's there. Yeah, there is definitely plenty of Arabic, but there is no... I mean, the file is there. Everything seems to be okay.
So...
If I was sharing my whole screen, by the way, you would have seen it.
Oh no, go again to your board. Let's look at it. Error message. We don't have it here, only in plan. Okay, let's go into plan. Wait a second. Java lang no class def founder. Let's put it into Google. It's actually Java problem, not Jira.
Java on Yosemite.
You know what? Who knows? Well, Pavel, you said you got this.
I was joking.
Okay. Well, you know, I wouldn't leave anything out here. So we can't look at the story itself, like this in the side panel.
Problem that we have attachment from an external website. Do we have that attachment? That Excel attachment?
Well, I can download it, or I mean, I have just downloaded it, so I have it.
Sounds like security permission.
Let's look what that attachments.
But can you delete the attachment that's in there and then import it?
I think it was importer problem. Yes. Update orphan list Excel file. Okay, I can do it.
But I mean, I need to be able to delete that attachment first, but I can't. Well, I can access the story.
What happens if you click?
OSRA 221.
So I can delete it from here.
Interesting.
Just delete it, Nick, and upload the version that you downloaded. You can't do any harm.
I suppose not. But I mean,
delete?
The attachment.
But it seems that the problem not with that attachment.
Just go into back to the dashboard before
Yeah,
we.
just to see if that fixes it. Okay, so now there's no problem looking at the story.
Oh, no problem. Yes. What did you do?
I deleted the attachment, so now I can upload it again.
Yeah.
What the heck was it called? Here. And now I get the same error.
We can't even blame Motorsun.
Damn it.
Is the
Well-
attachment compressed?
Yeah,
Is
no, I think it's just it's just an Excel file.
No, it's compressed, actually.
Try
it?
uploading it.
Zip
So it's
it,
not
yeah.
compressed.
XLSX, it's a zip file. That's maybe why problem.
Zip it and upload it.
Huh?
Yeah, how the
No,
heck do I...
Unzip it and upload it.
It's not zipped, it's an Excel file.
No, XSLSX, it's zip file.
Yeah, no, X means XML.
Yeah. I don't know, guys.
XML, yes, but actually it's zip. It's archived.
Yeah, it's archived as far as Excel's concerned, but it's not in zip format.
Okay, let me do this.
No, it's in zip format. You can open it with zip archiver and look at the structure. It's much complex than
The
it's one
extension
file.
isn't .zip, and Jira may be more comfortable with a .zip.
How about this? I save it as an XLS, no X at the end,
Okay, no problem.
and then I upload the...
Actually, I haven't seen a problem in Jira with XLSX files, so I do not think it. It's just strange.
No, same problem.
What did?
Delete it and zip it and try it, and then we can give up. We've tried everything then.
I need to open this bloody thing again in a separate tab. Oh, wait. Okay, wait a minute. So there were two attachments. One was XLS X and the other just XLS. Now I've deleted the X version. Okay. So it really didn't like the XLSX.
Interesting. I haven't met that problem before.
Yeah, well,
Maybe we make, I don't know, some restrictions about XML6 file. Yeah. Maybe we don't have zip extractor somewhere. I don't know. Strange. Anyway, it's not a problem. Yeah, let's go to vote again. We have still have one story.
yeah. So the last story is add city to sponsor. And again, so discussion yesterday was that, okay, remind me if I forget, but so what they want is every time you enter a city, it gets stored in the database so that next time it's available from a drop-down box, but you always have also a text box where you can enter freehand a city name. Is that right?
Does this story involve migration from the gem or from what? Where do we get all cities listed?
Well, it sounds like we don't get them anywhere. We let OSRA populate that list over time. That they will start entering sponsors, and every time they enter in sponsor, if that city already exists, it gets added to the database. Oh, sorry, it doesn't, but if it's a new city, then it gets added. So they will populate the list for us.
That's a bit error prone.
So this is going to add a whole new model for that too then.
That's what I'm thinking about. Yeah, and I agree, Alex, that it's error prone. I think what hopefully will save us from too many errors is the fact that we're talking about a dozen cities. So hopefully there shouldn't be that many misspellings if the list is short and is visible, or every city is visible when you look at the list.
We had a client meeting last night, and it was mentioned to the clients that it was error prone, and this is still what they wanted to do. I think is that right, Nick?
That's how I understood. I mean, so when I talked to Ahmed on Google Plus, we had arrived at one solution that we would have we would have a list of cities somewhere on the back end that the city that they enter by hand would be cross-checked against, and errors would be raised if nothing matched. So that was the implementation, but then Modism suggested this alternative that I just described, and it seemed like that's what the client decided to go with in the end. I mean, ultimately, again, as I mentioned last night, the much more user-friendly implementation would be that once you select a country, the city list is populated based on that country, but this is now front-end scripting. And I don't know what Ajax calls, I suppose. So we can definitely leave that for the future.
So the way it stands now, we're just making a new model. When they enter a city, if it's not in the city's list or whatever it's called model, then it adds it. And is there any kind of checking on whether it is in the model but the upper or lower case is wrong, or does Arabic even have upper or lower case?
Do we need a new model, or do we just need to?
It just needs to be a list.
If we call, make a database call to find out all the unique cities in that table, then that's our select list, and then we could have an option in that select box where they can actually write in a value that's not in the drop-down box, and then we can implement some sort of logic.
Yeah, so you plug the unique values out of the database, and that's what you display in the drop-down box, right?
Yeah, but it allows you to enter.
I think these would have to be then what, two completely separate inputs, or how would we handle this?
Well, I mean, I've never done that on web. In good old-fashioned Windows days, you actually, in a combo box, you could actually write a value down. I don't think you can do that in a select, can you? So, I mean, you could just have a box next to it that is available for typing in if none of your options are satisfactory on the drop-down box. I mean, it's not smart, but it's relatively easy to implement, isn't it? And
I think so, yeah. So, Brian, what do you think about not implementing a whole new model, but pulling these values out of the sponsor table?
Well, I think it would be easier right now.
Yeah.
But as far as long-term quality, I would almost go with the new model option. It would make this story more difficult. I think might be the right way to do it, and it would.
So the model would give us.
Well, it's kind of separation of concerns too. I mean, that model is not a cities list server, so I don't know. What do you guys think about it?
I agree with Brian. I don't think just adding the same city multiple times on the sponsor would be a good thing. At least if we have a model that actually keeps all the cities, we could just do as someone is typing, just get from that list to sort of a look ahead. If someone doesn't select from the look ahead, they can type whatever they have to type. And even if in the future we have to actually do proper cities based on what country has been selected, it would be easier to deal with. And in this your sponsor, we just have a reference.
Okay, so Brian and Alex, you are in favor of separating this into a separate model. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
So, what would we decide?
No, I mean, I don't need to vote. I'm happy to go with the consensus.
There isn't one, Craig. It's 50-50, unless Pavel wants to weigh in.
Mm-mm. No, guys.
You know, if you guys think it's worth the extra work, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, at the end of the day, we're only going to know whether it's the right or wrong decision further down the line. So as long as we make a decision, I don't see this as a blocker, I guess is what I'm saying, or some catastrophe if we choose the wrong
Option is having more quality.
Yeah.
I'm just, I guess the way I'm looking at it is I'm not sure what it is that we gain by spinning this off into a separate model. If there are, you know, we're not running validations on it, are we? Because if we say that no matter what the drop-down list looks like, the user still always has the option of entering data by hand, and that data is valid by default, then there isn't much that a model can do in terms of validations.
No, right now I agree. But later, when they want to change this, because we all know that stuff is going to get misspelled, and they're going to want this changed. I mean, that's what I think is going to happen. So I think it's going to be revisited at some point when it's live, and if that's the case, it would be a lot better to deal with a separate model whose sole concern is to deal with that, and then there could be separate validations just for that.
Okay, let's be forward-looking.
That's what I think. I mean,
okay, yeah.
The other way would work very well too, but I just lean towards the model for that.
Yeah. You know, if I look ahead to the to the JavaScript-based implementation,
You need a model there to look on.
or do you? What if you just had basically a YAML file that would, or well, any kind of file, doesn't matter what it is, because all you need to do is just pull out that string from it, or the bunch of strings to populate the drop-down box.
I'm going to sound like a dinosaur, but I don't like flat files, you know. I don't think it's very performant. I think you're much better off having these things in the DB.
Yeah, fair enough.
Whether it's in a different model or the same model,
Yeah.
as long as it's indexed, it should be performant. But
yeah, okay. So then, if we're looking really far ahead, we should expect to have a country model as well, I assume, right?
Or a table that represents both, where you have a city and a country.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I like that. How about a places model with city and country?
And then when they put the country in, it's easy to say select all the cities that have this country. It's just one table lookup.
Okay. Educate me here. Yeah, sorry, Alex.
Oh, I would agree. I would say that is the more correct way to do it. But I just put it aside because you're saying you proposed something like that in the client meeting, and they didn't care about it at that moment. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm thinking this is implementation detail. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think the client should be dictating how I implement. They should more or less dictate the behavior, because definitely that implementation is going to actually create technical debt, whether we like it or not.
Okay. So we're talking now about a places model. Yeah, places model that records city and country.
I would be happy with that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Can everybody vote?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I really should be asking. Can anybody not vote? Okay. So I'll stop my screen. So okay. Just let me rehash the story just so that I understand it, and please correct me if I get it wrong. We will create a places model that will store city, country, basically pairs. In the UI, for the moment, the country is not going to be used at all from this model, or it will.
No, I agree. It'll be used insofar as it'll be pulled from. Well, I'm guessing here, so please correct me if I've understood this wrong. But it'll be pulled when they fill out the address to store in the database, but it won't be pulled from that table to show.
Okay. So we have now a country drop-down list, but that is populated separately from this gem that Modosims found. And that's how it's going to stay, that the drop-down box on the form is still populated from that list, right?
I thought we were just dealing with city right now.
Okay, well, we can leave it blank. Or we don't even need to add. We can call it places. We don't even need to add country at this time. You can just add city, and then later on add a country ID field and go through and populate the ones that we have.
But then at that point, let's say they've added 500 sponsors that they have right now. So we have 500 entries that are city, well, not 500, I suppose, if they only come from a dozen to 20 cities. We have 20 cities that have no country association with them at all.
Yeah, so that's just a select update everything that says London and set the country to UK.
Okay,
And then you do that a dozen times. So it's not like you're going to have to go through all 500. You would do it for each.
Okay.
So before we vote, I want to clarify too. There's addresses currently. We're not linking the addresses to this, right?
No, I don't think we're doing that. Are we?
Okay. I didn't think we were. I just wanted to make sure that we all thought the same.
Okay. Alex, Craig, that's right? Addresses are not part of the conversation.
I think so. I mean, down the line, when they want to be able to fix a typo, we're going to have to consider that, because what they're going to have to do is say, rename or take all the Londons with a lowercase l and move them over to all the Londons with an uppercase L before deleting the London with a lowercase l, in which case you're going to have to reference those things. But at the moment, I think that's just too much complexity.
Okay. All right, so let me start from the beginning then. See if I got it right in my head. We are creating a model called Places, which for the moment will have only city name as one of its columns. This is what we use. This is what we link up with the UI, with the form for editing or entering sponsors. So there will be a drop-down box that will list the cities from this model, and there will also be a text box where the user can enter freehand a new city name, and if that city name does not already exist in the model, it gets added to the model when the sponsor is saved.
Yes.
And sponsor belongs to city. City has many sponsors, right? Or place, pardon me, place.
Can I ask one last question? And this isn't this is for us to decide rather than asking the client. But are we going to capitalize these and then store them in the database capitalized to get rid of?
So I have a question. Does Arabic have capital and lowercase?
I'm not sure these. Will these be in Arabic?
We don't know that, do we?
No.
Let's
forget that. Let's forget that. Let's just. It's a headache. Let's leave that and just let them. I think you've answered my question.
Okay, so we skip anything else, basically. There are no validations other than uniqueness.
Yeah.
We're not validating case. We're not capitalizing before saving. None of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now it's just a places model, and you can have like places.city, or you could have like sponsor.city, because they're linked together, but we're not having the country implemented yet. Is that right?
So country is not a part of it at the moment at all, is that?
Let me review the story.
Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, basically, when they add a city, they'll be adding it to through the sponsor's interface, won't they? So when they create a new sponsor, if the city's not in the drop-down box and they add it to the text box that's below it, it'll basically add that value to the sponsor and create a new value in the places table at the same time. Is that what you're asking?
Sorry, so the sponsor records the city. So there is a new attribute, or sorry, there is a new column in the sponsor table to record the city, or it's an association.
Should be an association.
Because if we're not doing this through an association, then I really don't see the need for the separate model. I thought the question at this point was, so let's say we add a separate city entry, doesn't matter what shape it takes right now, but here you can enter a city, here you can enter country. In this places model, are we storing both country and city?
Well, ideally, I would have wanted to store both the country and city. Some cities can be in multiple countries, that same city name. So to me, storing both would have been good, because I'm thinking there's never going to be a point when someone is going to leave the country blank and just go and add a city.
Yeah,
But,
sure.
the only reason I was a bit quiet about it is we already have a way that we have populated countries, and I didn't want to actually interrupt with that mechanism that's already working.
But is there any way, or is there any reason, Alex, that you see that we couldn't keep populating country the way we do currently, but keep populating city the way we're discussing right now?
I'm not seeing any problem with that, because I don't think anyone is ever gonna type a country name they were already populating from at least a collection that we already have somewhere. So I don't see anything wrong with us writing both the country and the city in our places table.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in that case, right from the beginning, we're talking about creating a places model that stores city and country.
Well, the other alternative, I guess the third alternative, is we could add it to the addresses.
But the address that the sponsor has is not, it's just free-form text. It does not create an address model or address object. This is, you can write down anything you want here. There is no, this doesn't get converted into an address object and doesn't get stored in the addresses table.
What doesn't?
This sponsor address here.
Is that just a field on the sponsor model?
Yeah.
Because the addresses model has city, province,
Yeah.
neighborhood, street details.
Yeah, that is used exclusively for the orphan right now.
Oh,
and
well, that's the sponsor city that's in the. Yeah, it's the sponsor city that's. Hey, that Java no class def found error is popping up again.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's the sponsor. Does the sponsor use the addresses model or not? Does anybody know?
Not at all. The only model that address has a connection to is orphan.
Well,
No.
I would say based solely on the fact that the address model is linked to a province ID that's inside Syria, it kind of excludes making addresses outside Syria. So I'd say we probably shouldn't use that.
All right, valid point. Okay, so all right. So you go in, create a sponsor, you put in a country, you put in a city. Let's say city is not, Dropbox is not populated yet at all. You just enter city freehand. When you click create sponsor, city and country get stored as a place in the places table. Is that correct? Okay, and then the next time you go to create a sponsor, the city drop-down box is now populated by the city pulled out from the places table, right?
Probably filtered by the country that you've already set there.
Sorry, Alex, can you repeat?
I'm saying probably filtered by the country that you've already selected there.
Okay. Yeah, but this would happen. This would happen in a future iteration. What you're describing, this filtering by the country, right?
Okay, so if we don't filter, yes, we can just have a look ahead. Maybe instead of giving a proper drop down, just like we do in Google, as you're typing the city, it populates with what's already in the DB.
So, and this is going to be an association, or this is going to be duplicate information in both tables? That's the bit I'm still not clear on.
Well, I think it really ought to be an association.
Yeah.
Because if we're storing city names right in the sponsor table, then I don't.
No point in having a model.
Yeah, yeah. Alex, what you were describing, this either pre-population or this, the name matching while you were typing, or population of the city box based on the country box, this would be all handled by JavaScript, right?
The look ahead would be, it will be handled by JavaScript, yes.
Yeah. So I think we're not talking about implementing that at the moment.
I thought in the client meeting it was discussed that would wait.
Yeah. So I think, that's how I understood it. So the unfortunate side effect, let's say, of the way that they've decided to implement it is that if you select Saudi Arabia here, but then the city drop-down box is going to show you London, Moscow, Paris, etc. But that's something that that's how they describe the story to us.
But let's not forget, I mean, when we talked about this yesterday, they said at the moment they had 12 cities in their database.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm guessing London, Moscow, and Paris are not on it. So they have these 4 preferred countries. Also, London actually might be. But there's a dozen cities from these 4 countries, so the selection is probably very limited. So it's not as big of an issue, I guess, as I might have made it sound. Okay. Does anybody else want to raise any questions, concerns before we vote?
Yeah, I guess. Do we know if there's 12 cities? What's the likelihood of that growing? To either. What's the likelihood of it growing to 20 or growing to 5,000?
The
Well,
former more than the latter, I think.
yeah. But, at the same time, I'm sure OSRA would like for that list to be gigantic. And as in, they attract hundreds and thousands of sponsors. So while it's unlikely, I don't know if we should hedge our bets based on that.
If we're worried about performance, an active admin, I think a drop-down box is probably the least of our worries.
Yeah. For me, the concern with drop-down boxes was never about performance, but more about the
Size
UI.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Alex, are you ready to vote on a story?
I'm ready to.
Craig?
Uh,
Do you want to go over it one more time?
No, I'm ready. I've changed my mind.
Okay.
I know what I'm doing.
Brian, you're okay too?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this thing. Pavel, are you sleeping yet, or?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Still on discussion, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't get the point. But anyway, yeah, you can vote.
You were very good. We didn't hear you snoring.
Yeah, he's mic muted. Okay, well, I'll do the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. At least there won't be any follow-up discussion.
What did you do with the story, guys?
It's a 3-point.
It became 3 point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 1 point and we weren't happy with it, so we talked it into a 3 point.
Yeah, completely make it very hard to do. Okay.
The committee took something easy and made it impossibly difficult. All right.
Nick, share your screen again.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, so we have 3 new stories for a total of 8 points. Does anybody wish to grab one of these right now, or we just finish whatever it is that we're doing at the moment and then take the next step?
Probably a better idea, isn't it? Then we're not pinching stories off people at the end.
Okay.
If you want one, Nick, take one. But
well, I'll take the 2 3-pointers, obviously.
I'll probably be ready for one tomorrow, but until I finish this one, I'm gonna abstain. But I do want one, just not right now.
Oh yeah, so Brian, how's your sorting story coming?
I've been looking at this spike and these gems and stuff. When it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I actually had to clone the entire project to get the spike to work, but I can see what he's doing. So I was kind of busy yesterday. I had to run some Ethernet wire through some houses, but tonight I'm working on that, so I should get really far.
Okay, good stuff. Are you implementing the model, or just we're strictly talking about the sorting right now?
Yeah, no, just the sorting.
Okay, all right. Okay, anything else to discuss?
No, it's great to having lots of people submitting PRs at the moment. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, we just have to review them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got here when I joined the call, so I haven't looked yet, but there was a bunch of stuff waiting for code review, I thought.
Now, most of them though need a rebase. To be fair, otherwise I think some of them would have been merged by now. And that brings me on to one last question before you disappear, Nikita. Are we in agreement that if Motorsum rebases that the last of the Excel importer, we're happy with it as is, to be merged in for the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I think Brian's are going to need a rebase, and Alex's needs a rebase. So,
yeah, I think just about everything in there. Yeah.
Mine needs a lot of work, but even if it didn't, it would need a rebase too. So.
Okay. Craig, how about this for Motorsum's 108? So if Motorsum happens to be watching this and he actually sticks to the end, maybe he'll rebase it and we can go ahead. But if that doesn't happen, how about we say that before the start of tomorrow's Scrum, either you or I, whoever has free time, just ping the other person and say that I'm doing this right now. We grab it from his repo, rebase it, and submit a new pull request, I suppose.
Okay. I'll send them a message in Slack and see if can't get yes.
Although, oh yeah, I just remembered that the rebase might be a bit painful, but
yeah.
Okay. Well, let's play it by ear then. Okay, guys, that's it for us.
See you tomorrow, guys.
All right.
We've had a great Scrum today.
Yeah. A bit long, but productive.
No, it's the only chance for us to communicate, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I switch on broadcasting and see you tomorrow, guys.
Take care.
Okay.